Welcome back, everybody. Episode 38 of the Jader and Kyle Show. We're coming back, guys. We're going solo this week. No guest for Jader or I. We're just
A
gonna
Star Wars pun?
Huh?
Is that a Star Wars pun?
Solo?
We're
Perhaps.
going solo this week.
But yeah, we're going solo this week, guys. It's just gonna be Jader and I. It's like back to the good old days when we first started this thing and we were doing Point Break and The Fugitive and had no idea what we were doing. And now we decided to have every guest on.
Absolutely.
So, but as always, I'm joined by my co-host Jader. How's it going, man?
How's it going, man? I'm tired as all hell. As you know, behind the scenes, I'm always running around. I'm always doing something. I've been invited to so many shows this week. Schmo Me the Money show. Sorry, it's like a tongue twister. Shout out to them for having me on the show. They were awesome. The What the Show podcast had me on for a little bit, and then just been watching a lot of movies and studying for that big match that I have. So every night this week, I've honestly been streaming. I've been on something, or I've been just watching a movie. I know it sounds like hard work, but it's crazy how we obviously watch movies for our entertainment, right? We're obviously fans and just love this world. Excuse me, this world so much, right? Now I'm seeing it like. It doesn't take the fun out of it because I love what I'm doing, but I kind of see movies now like homework. I'm like, oh my God, I got to see this movie now and just take every single note of anything that they can possibly ask for because of the love of the game that I have. Like I have so much love for this game that I'm like, I just want, I want to win, and I have something to prove this year. I really do have a chip on my shoulder this year. So yeah.
It's funny because I hit that slump last year. I think about late last year where you're like, you know what? I'm just kind of tired of watching something new every single day. And the way to break out of that is you got to just go back to the movies you love. You got to find them again, sit down and watch them and rediscover your joy because it can get grueling. Watching movies, I know people can think that you're just sitting on a couch watching something, but you're taking in something new every day. Sometimes it tastes good, sometimes it's bad, but you're going to be there every single time. And it can get exhausting after a bit. So really go back and watch, for you, Jader, watch your Dark Knights and watch your action movies, all the ones that you love the most. Go back and see those again because that's how you reignite that passion that you once had. And also, you do have your match coming up, and you're going to be studying some movies that you really love. So I think that's going to help you.
Those are secrets. Those are secrets that I tell you, Kyle.
I know. I said some specific words.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, dude, it's been this study sessions that have been a lot of fun. I've been on it, like I said. The movies that I am watching, not terrible. But there's a lot of new movies that are coming out, especially this weekend. That Judas and the Black Messiah, one film that I am super looking forward to, which I know you saw already. So don't know if you want to talk about it or not. Briefly.
Yeah, you can. I mean, I saw 2 movies this week. You can check my reviews out up on the website. Just give you a brief glimpse. Judas and Black Messiah is obviously getting heavily publicized. It's going to be in theaters and on HBO Max this Friday, tomorrow. I would absolutely recommend seeing this. I didn't know about this story of Fred Hampton and Bill O'Neill and how basically the story is Bill O'Neill goes undercover for the FBI into the Black Panther Party and infiltrates them. And then while he's there, he kind of discovers what the Black Panther Party actually stands for. And now he has this moral conundrum of, do I really turn my back on them? Or do I, stay straight and focus on myself and get him turned in? And I think that's such a very interesting dynamic to watch play out. And plus, Lakeith Stanfield is doing some great subtle work here. Who's going through?
I'm hearing this is actually Lakeith's film over Daniel. What is that? No. Is that
no. Daniel Kaluuya absolutely is incredible in this. Like, dude, he is the next Denzel Washington. Everything he's in just blows my mind at how well he acts. First of all, just hearing that he's British and you hear how he talks in real life, and then you watch all of his movies. From Get Out, when you see how he can play this character who's very subtle, is able to go back and forth his emotions, and then he's scary in something like Widows. He's profound in something like Black Panther, and then you see him now in this movie where he's also just this intimidating force, but he's also so captivating that you want to listen to everything he's going to say. I think this guy's got something really special, and I can't wait to see it. He's doing a Barney movie. Like, I would never see a Barney movie, but now that Daniel Kaluuya is attached to it, I'm gonna see this Barney movie now.
No, I'll pass. Bro. I don't know if you heard that Universal Studios shut that shit down.
What, the movie?
That Barney area is closed last week or something like that. I mean, it's not that it's not for me. It's obviously not for me.
Mm-hmm.
But even my kids are like, I don't like that area. Let's go to let's go to the Simpsons world, right?
Right.
So yeah, I'm super. There's rumors that they're gonna do a Super Mario Land.
That's been done already, and
yeah, but no, it's done in Japan. It's 100% coming to Orlando, but I heard they were gonna do it in the new theme park because they're opening a new theme park, and I heard they had a whole area for that because I feel like if they're gonna do it there, that area is too small for that area. Like to do a whole Mario thing, like I'd rather see it in a new theme park is ultimately what I'm getting at. Like do something for the kids. I know Five's Playland, like that movie. No, like my kids don't know what that movie is. I gotta show them what that movie is. But they still have fun in that little water area. You know, just color it up a little bit, or if you're gonna rename it or something, rename it. But like, do something within that world. You get me?
Yeah.
Because the kids at Universal, like Universal is easier rides. My daughter can ride more rides in Universal than she can in Islands. But she tends to want to be more at Islands. But that's one area where it's supposed to be where they have the most fun, where they're like, oh, I don't really like it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if Daniel Kaluuya is going to show up in a Barney costume one day, then we're going to have to visit at some point. The other movie I saw comes out on Amazon Prime tomorrow. It is called The Map of Tiny Perfect Things. Brutal title, by the way. Like, that's the worst part of the movie is the title. The Map of Tiny Perfect Things. I had never heard anything about this movie, but
I've heard of it.
Exactly. You still haven't heard of it. It comes out tomorrow.
No.
It is a Groundhog Day style film about a kid who is just living the same day over and over again. Who knows how long he's been doing the same day over and over again. And he's kind of just figured out everything in this town. He knows how to, pull people out of the way where they're in trouble. If someone's going to walk in somewhere with their fly down, he's able to point that out. He's able to stop them getting pooped on by birds. Anything little he's figured out in this town. And then one day something's different. And it's that this girl steps in the way of something when she usually never does. And so he finds out that she is also in this time loop. And it's about this bond they formed, even though both of them are going through an internal struggle. Like, this kid is the day he is stuck in is the day his father is having to talk with him of what he's going to do with his future. And then with the girl, the day she's stuck in is she has to be somewhere at 6 o'clock every single day, no matter what. And you kind of find out what that is and understand later in the film. I'm not going to spoil it because it's a great little reveal. But it looks like a sappy teen drama romance at the surface, but it's not. It's very profound. It's very interesting. I hooked onto these characters. Catherine Newton is an actress that I've always thought was great. She's been in stuff like Blockers, or she was just in Freaky this past year. I think she's a great actress. She's awesome in this. And then this guy named Kyle Allen. Let me say, we need more famous Kyles, and I am all for it.
Your name was taking like the Karen route, man, and I was like, they're like, shut up, Kyle, and I was like, God damn, man. I'm like, I know one Kyle in my life, and he's a pretty cool fucking guy, you know.
Thank you.
So it kind of sucks that your name was. You know what? I think I've said it on the show before. My sister's name is Karen. So now I love saying "shut up, Karen" to her because it's the best. Every time she's bitching about something, "Shut up, Karen," and she's like,
well, like, how many famous Kyles are there right now? Can you name any? Kyle Chandler, huh?
Kyle from South Park.
See, I got Kyle Lowry, and that's it. Yeah. So we need more. Kyle Allen's coming in here, and I think he is going to be a pretty big star coming up if he can stay straight. If you're not fall into that teen route that most of them go in, check this movie out. I'm a sucker for Groundhog Day movies. I love that same day over and over again.
Do you like Happy Death Day?
I like both those movies, both the Happy Death Days. Whereas one that Palm Springs last year. That Palm Springs.
Okay, so you have that on your top, and I haven't seen that yet. But you're not the only one that had it on their top 10. Mm-hmm. So I have to check it out because it's very popular.
Palm Springs is really good, and it's funny. Yeah, so I would check that one out, then check this one out. Any Groundhog Day style movie. I just watched Groundhog Day again last week because obviously it was Groundhog Day. So I had to go see what was going on. And that movie still works to this day.
That movie till this day still holds up. I think that movie's fucking hilarious.
And honestly, man, I wouldn't mind getting stuck in a time loop for a little bit. Because don't you ever want to see time just slow down and stop to where you don't have to worry about anything? You can just
absolutely. Hello, I have kids.
Exactly. So it makes you wish, like, this would be nice. And you also start thinking to yourself, what day in your life would you like to be stuck in over and over again? That's a fun little game that you can play with yourself. Like, what's the one day in your life where you say, you know what, I would love to live this day every single day and have it never change?
Oh, I can pick multiple, man. Multiple days, to be honest with you. But I actually, it'll mostly be things with my kids. Just seeing them take their first steps again, their first words, things that I missed. Not even, okay, well, that doesn't count because I wasn't actually present. There's a bunch of things that I would, their birth, believe it or not, I would replay that day over again if I could.
Yeah.
But yeah, just me, sappy dad being me. But yeah, that's dope. You can catch those reviews at our website, Pulp Culture Pros.
There you go, Steve.
I'm the MVP. This is why my name goes first.
Also, guys, we decided usually we did news before, and there's really not much in the news. Yeah, there's a big story, but we're not going to
big story that caused a little civil war in our website, so we're not going to touch it here because we are not that type of show. We've said this a million times. We are here to not stress you out. We're here to make you reminisce on films that you love or make you see films that you love. And with that being said, I think it's very few people, if any, that can honestly say that they don't like the movie that we're reviewing today. I think maybe one person that thinks it's overrated. So without further ado, tonight,
today, guys, we're doing Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, we can talk about the amazing, groundbreaking title that they released for Sonic the Hedgehog. The sequel got announced with a.
I was so surprised to see what they put, man. There's a 2 there, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Like, geez, they're really thinking outside the box.
They really are. But I did like the 2 was the Tails. That was a good touch. But I loved it because I told you I saw it on Instagram and Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but it wasn't until I read the headline where it says groundbreaking, thought-provoking title, and I was like, bro, this is fucking genius marketing already. Just quickly touch on Sonic because a lot of people haven't seen that movie. It
was one of my favorite days last year when we got to talk to Ben Schwartz. Like, just that, and then that movie. Coming into that movie had a lot of buzz because of the whole changing the way Sonic looked, and people were expecting it to be bad. And the movie's actually really good. It's super enjoyable. It's a really easy watch. Jim Carrey's having the time of his life, and so is Ben Schwartz. I would definitely check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Sonic's a real, and I loved that video game growing up. I still would like.
I know, and there's just little things that they add in that film. That even playing the video games, little things that he does, like when you just leave him alone, that they put in the film. I'm like, those are just the smallest touches that I'm like, this is them listening to fans, which a lot of studios don't do, right? I know we're talking about a movie that came out literally a year ago. Actually, a year ago this weekend because it was Valentine's Day weekend.
Yeah,
so a year ago tomorrow, right? But it's just I love the little details that they did. I liked everybody's like, oh, they bullied the studio. No, man, that's fuck. Like who pays to go see these movies? Listen to us once in a while. Yes, we might talk a lot of shit, but sometimes we know what the fuck we're talking about, right? And we obviously they didn't change anything on the film, but I feel like it would have gotten just that much criticism because that Sonic was ugly, man. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, what the fuck is this, man? And I'm like, and we live in a day and age where what we ultimately got, they could have done that the first time around.
Yeah.
Who greenlit that Sonic is beyond me, But I'm glad they listened. The movie, obviously, I know a lot of people were like, man, just because they listen to the fan, I'm gonna go and support this movie, right? So, and it goes to show you because that movie made a fucking shit ton of money like that weekend. I forgot what other movie opened against it. There was a movie that opened against it, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember. Yeah, I know. Was it the? No, it wasn't The Invisible Man. That was the week after
No, that
that.
was the week after. That was literally the last movie. I haven't been to the movie theaters and it'll be next week. It'll be a year since I've been sitting down in a theater.
I still haven't gotten to see any of the stuff that they like in theaters and on streaming services the same day. Like in any normal circumstance, I would have gone to see the new Wonder Woman movie in theaters, but that movie was so bad that I had no desire to ever see it again.
No, I honestly said that I was gonna see it beforehand, but I heard all the negative reviews that I'm like, maybe not waste my money. Saw it at home, and I was super glad I did see it. Talking about super glad, how about we talk Superbad?
There it is, Superbad. No, that's the movie we're covering today, guys. Superbad. Jader and I decided, let's just have a fun episode, and let's have to reach for a guest. Let's just do something fun, and we're gonna pick a movie that's just.
This whole episode is off the top of the dome too. I have not written anything down. My love for this film. I'm gonna look up. I will look up quotes when this comes, but I already have everything gone because of my love for this movie. So, tell me this, Kyle. The first time you saw Superbad, did you see this in the theater? Did you see this at home? What was going on? Because I know
I saw this at home. I forget when at home, but I remember it was during middle school. So like you're getting ready for high school, and you get to see this movie. Like, oh shit, this is what high school is going to be like. And these are kids they're kind of losers. They're these two kids
they're fucking losers. I'm like, they're not kind of losers. This guy gets a fucking hawker to his shirt.
I know, like the first 10 minutes, he just gets spit on right on his chest. But no, these kids are losers who they have their own little friend group, and they've really enjoyed being with themselves, even though they have these desires to be popular. And they're what every horny teenager wants to do is they want to finally sleep with a girl. And I have a funny quote that I'll get to when we get to that moment. I think there's so much stuff.
That's gonna be the hardest part, I think, in this episode, picking the best quote, because
yes. And what it comes down to basically as guys is we have a chance to impress the most beautiful girl in the world. So what we're going to do is we're going to do everything possible for her to make it happen. And in this case, it is buying beer for her. And obviously that goes completely wrong, and they go on this whole adventure. And I really love this movie, man. I think this is such a rewatchable film. You can always go back and pick up those lines over and over again. I don't know if you discover something new every time. You just relive the same experience. And that experience is just pure joy every single time I watch this film. It kind of blows my mind to see actors like Jonah Hill and Emma Stone and Michael Cera. And, the biggest is Christopher Mintz-Plasse. He does not look anywhere today. He looks nothing like today what he did back in 2007. McLovin is such a revelation, and I can't wait to talk to him because he's going to come up quite a bit as we go down these categories.
Absolutely.
But Jader, you asked me where I was when I first saw this. What about you? What was your first experience seeing this film?
Opening night, my ass was in the theater watching this, not knowing what I was going to experience. Obviously, yeah. I went to go watch it because I went to the movies every Friday. It's just something that I did. And as funny as the previews looked, I don't think I ever saw like a red band trailer for this movie. I saw a regular trailer and I was like, this movie looks funny. That guy's pretty funny, which is Jonah Hill. I'm like, I don't know who the other guys are. I don't remember. Michael
Cera has never acted in a big movie before this.
Yeah, and obviously I think this was Christopher Mintz-Plasse's
debut.
First film. It was his debut. Obviously knew who Seth Rogen was. I knew Bill Hader was, and I didn't even know. I knew Seth Rogen by name. Didn't know Bill Hader by name. It was just like, oh yeah, that guy in the background of these episodes.
Even Jonah Hill had not been a lead.
No, that's what I mean. Jonah Hill. I didn't even know it was Jonah Hill. I just knew that it was it's that guy that is in Knocked Up. He was funny in Knocked Up, but that I knew that it was Jonah Hill. No, I didn't know. Right. So I remember going to see this movie. It was a bunch of us, dude. Opening night. And I can't recall a time where I laughed harder in a theater, which is crazy because this is still not my favorite comedy. It's up there. I love the way McLovin's at one eye. There it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not my favorite comedy, but it is one that I revisit quite often, right? I actually just showed it to my little brother maybe like 3 or 4 months ago. He had never seen it before.
Okay.
He's like, oh, what's a good comedy that I can watch? I'm like, oh, I started telling him about, Tropic Thunder, Step Brothers. He's like, no, never seen it. I'm like, have you seen Superbad? He's like, no. I forgot what movie he saw. Oh, he saw Pineapple Express and Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Okay.
He saw both of those, and he goes, man, those movies were hilarious. I'm like, have you seen Superbad? Mind you, my brother's senior in high school right now, right? So it's like the perfect time to watch this. So I remember I was tired as all hell. It was like almost like past midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, where I'm like, I'm gonna stay up, and I knew I had to work early the next day. I'm like, and watch this movie with you, because there's no way in hell that you're not gonna see this movie with me for the first time, right? And obviously became an instant fan. He says he's seen it like 3 or 4 times already. He's like, it's my favorite comedy of all time.
And you know what? That's not an uncommon thing. I think a lot of people feel that way, that this is one of the funniest movies ever made. And I'm right there with them. What I really enjoy is that every generation has their high school comedy that really works.
I'm sorry, quick little shout out to Tony saying Jonah Hill from The 40-Year-Old Virgin, because that's honestly where I remembered him from, and obviously from Knocked Up. But his cameo in 40-Year-Old, I think we mentioned it on the show, with goldfishes, and he goes, I just want to buy these from you straight up, making this extremely difficult for me to just go home. I love that scene so much, and it was just, again, it was like a minute and a half scene. But
I feel like every generation has their high school comedy that they really hold on to, whether it's something like American Pie or even as recent as Booksmart. I feel like it's gonna grab onto that for a lot of people this generation. Superbad.
I've seen Booksmart once only, and I really do have to revisit that because it's so great.
It's really funny, but I feel like this people were calling it the female Superbad.
Female Superbad, yeah.
Yeah, that was like what it was. That was the catch to get people to go into the theater, was saying, hey, it's a female Superbad. And it really is. These guys are just trying to get beer in order to impress these girls and go to this party.
Try to get laid, man.
That's exactly it. That's all they're trying to do, is trying to get laid. And it's very relatable for high school boys, definitely, but also for women. It's just nice to be able to sit back and watch these guys also make fools of themselves as they try to stumble through this. And what I really relate to, what I really like about this whole era of comedy is that Judd Apatow group of comedians that he assembled to get them together, and they've taken over the genre ever since. You look at him, Seth Rogen, and you have James Franco and Jonah Hill and Jason Segel and Paul Rudd and all these people who come together, and he's just made them all stars. I will see any movie that these people put out. And I think this was really the most profound one out of them all. This is the one that people, when you go back through all their films, this is when people hold up the most. Is Superbad, is one of the funniest ones. This and I think 40-Year-Old Virgin are the ones that people talk about the most. When you look back on this, Jader, what sticks out? Like, what's its legacy for Superbad? Like, what do you think about it?
Just this, it's funny because there's 2 films and they both star Jonah Hill that I didn't expect it to be. Yeah, we will get to that. I promise you, Tim. I promise you we're going to mention this. But like I said, that I've not laughed as hard as I did. And again, I saw American Pie, Dumb and Dumber. Everybody knows we did an episode. It's my favorite comedy of all time.
I think Breakfast Club is another one that fits in that category.
So it's just for me, it was like it's ahead of its time, or a modern classic, if you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
21 Jump Street was another one that did this for me. What I wasn't expecting 21 Jump Street to be what it was, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think that Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum were going to be as funny. Throw Ice Cube into the mix. Great story, yada yada yada. Superbad did this for me. Superbad for me, again, from the opening scene where you see them dancing, you're like, all right, I'm digging the music, this and that and that. Opening scene, he's talking on the phone on what porn site he's gonna join, and they're obviously talking about Bang Brothers. That's based out of Miami, the Fantastic Voyage, right?
Yeah.
And they start talking about, I don't want it. I want to pick a subtle name because when the bill comes out, I don't want my parents seeing it. They're like, what about Perfect 10? Mom comes out and they're like, you guys are gonna miss each other. And then he goes,
He bends over.
so glad. I'm so jealous you got to suck in them titties. Right there, I was like, oh my God, we're getting I didn't know it was gonna be like a raunchy film.
Oh yeah.
Bro, the 6 to midnight thing, the nipples on the porn magazine, he goes, they look like little baby toes, like all that just back to back. I was like, what the fuck are we watching?
Yeah.
I had already laughed so hard, right? Tony, good call out with Old School. Old School is another one that I laughed my ass off. But I got pre-warned about. I didn't see Old School opening night. I saw it opening weekend because my uncle was like, dude, funniest movie I've fucking seen. Went to go see it. So I was expecting next level shit, which I got. I think Old School is really funny, but I guess I was expecting to laugh as hard. I wasn't expecting to laugh with Superbad. Not as hard as I did, at least. So again, you're like 10, 15 minutes in, right? And I had already laughed so hard, and it wasn't just me; it was the whole theater. In fact, there was parts where people were laughing so hard that I couldn't hear the next line, which is great in my opinion. I have to come back and see it again. I think I saw Superbad like 3 times in the theater.
It's just like when he gets spit on by that one guy at the beginning. He's like, "You have my back back there, dude." And Michael Cera's like, "What do you want me to do?" It's so fun. And then I think when I laughed the hardest, like when I really knew that this movie had me, was when McLovin shows up. And I feel like we have to really talk about McLovin. He's going to come up so much during these categories. But when he comes walking through the classroom door, which, by the way, I love, is that he's just walking around the school. He doesn't have classes or anything going right now. He just comes barging into the class. What up, gangsters?
What up, gangsters? No, but time out. Let's just go just a little bit, little back, right?
When Jonah Hill's complaining to the teacher.
Oh my God, bro. We don't know economics is like a piece of shit class. He's like, no offense. And I'm not trying to shit on your profession. He's just constantly bashing her, right? So then obviously everything gets shut down as soon as he pairs him up with Jules, which is Emma Stone's character, which is the first time I remember seeing Emma Stone.
It's her acting debut.
There you go. So I had never seen her. Obviously, never seen her before. It was her debut. So all that, the things that he's doing in the background, dude. When Michael Cera's with the little Asian guy, right, and they're doing the kitty, the cat, he goes, that shit kills me when he's like, and he starts licking his every freaking time. I just die of laughter. Then obviously cue in Fogo wearing a Metallica shirt, so shout out to that. and he's like, when he's like, oh, I forget her name, man, and this sucks because I have to know this.
It's like Ava or something, and she's like, I was just walking behind me.
He was walking behind me. He goes, oh, it's like 11:23, and he goes, I told her what time it was.
The scene where he's shitting on her profession, he's like, I don't want to have to make these shitty creme brulees or whatever they are.
What am I gonna make tiramisu? Seriously,
no mess. It's so good. And he's like, but there's 2 weeks left, and I want what they have. I want what they're doing over there.
It looks like the best time they've ever had in their life. But yeah, then obviously we go. McLovin tells him he's gonna get a fake ID. Right after that, tells him obviously before they were trying to avoid, or at least Seth, Jonah Hill's character, was like, I'm not hanging out with him. Don't tell him about anything. And then this guy all of a sudden, wants to give him the fake ID. I mean, he has a fake ID, and he's like, all right, well, maybe we can use him, being the asshole character that Seth is, Yeah. And then tells him about the awesome party, all this and that and that. But yeah, hold on. That's the best fucking story I've ever heard. There you go.
Well, also a good scene right after is when you get to see Evan meet Becca or talk to Becca. We've all been there when you're sitting in class in high school and you look over at the girl you like and you're just kind of staring at her, and then you realize that she's staring back at you, and you're like, oh shit, and you just kind of look up to the sky. All been there. And then
we've all been there, man. We've all been there.
They hit the subtleties so well. There's that moment after they're done talking with each other outside of class, okay, see you later, and they're both walking
and then he's speed walking and all that shit.
Yes,
yes, dude.
That I mean, I've been there too. It's like, oh, okay, I thought we said goodbye, but I don't want to keep talking, so you just move as fast as you can in the other direction.
So
It's really good, man. They really hit all those little things that you see in high school. Is there anything else you want to mention before we get into these categories? I feel like we're gonna just hit everything once we get
yeah,
into
we
these.
have to. Honestly, I can go scene for scene, like I said.
Yeah.
But let's start hitting the categories.
All right. So best scene. This is probably one of the hardest categories to come up with is best scene because there's so many in
There's
this,
some
man.
quotes. Again, there's so many great scenes. It's fuck, dude.
I'll go first. My favorite scene. I have two that were really vying for it, but I'm just gonna pick one, and it's the McLovin intro. It's when he first gets the fake ID, and they're like, "Okay, Hawaii, that's hard to track. That's fine. Okay, McLovin,
Love it.
what's your first name? I
Oh,
don't have it.
we don't have our names up. I actually
Oh,
put
shit.
I
It
put
should have done it. Let me
I
see.
did.
I
I had
got
put my name up already, but whatever, it's fine.
I am McLovin.
Oh,
I am McLovin.
I am McLovin.
It's so good. Just the way Jonah Hill starts freaking out, like because he has this goal in mind where I have to get this alcohol, and he's my only avenue to get it. And then he comes up with the fake ID. Why don't you pick a what else? What are the names you're thinking of? He's like, well, it was between that and Muhammad.
Muhammad. Why would you pick? Why was it not between that and Muhammad?
Because Muhammad's the most common name in the world. Pick up a fucking book.
For once. Oh my God. And I love when he's like
25.
You're not. Yeah, you're 25. Fucking like a strat. What is he telling me? He's like, oh, it's strategy. Or
Yes.
something.
Yeah. He's like, every day there are stupid teenagers who walk in with a fake ID all claiming they're 21. Well, now what? I'm going to walk in and I'm 25 years old. She won't know a difference. It's really funny, man. And I just think like that really sets the dynamic for all three of them together, what their whole relationship must be like outside of this. So I think that's my favorite scene. There's so many more they can go to. I want to hear what yours is, Jader. What's your favorite?
Oh man. Honestly, if let's see. It's just I love that fucking movie so much.
I mean, I can throw in
Probably,
another.
I'm gonna go with probably the intro to the cops with Seth Rogen and
That was going to be my next one.
honestly, like the whole punching thing, them talking to the
Mindy.
clerk, they're like, is he or
Stop when I-
someone to stop, and then and he's like, is he what? And then he's like,
Did he look like?
what did he look like? Looks like you. Oh, Jewish.
So we have a Jewish African.
Yeah, dude. It was that. And then them just their characters also. I know we're not talking characters, but just how fucking cool they were. Knowing the whole fucking time,
Yes.
obviously about McLovin. But I love that whole scene because obviously you don't know. You don't know what's gonna happen, and it's kind of like a nerve-wracking scene, like being being underage, getting stopped, getting hit in the fucking face first of all, and then getting the cops coming in asking you questions when you're trying to buy booze, knowing you're underage, knowing you're going to an underage party the whole night. So the whole time you're like, what the fuck's gonna happen, man? Like, where's the story going? And then be like, hey man, don't worry about it. Like, and just they I don't know. I feel like both Hader and Seth kill it in this. I feel Bill Hader is highly underrated.
Yeah.
Highly
As Tim
underrated.
says in the chat that he's severely underrated. That guy is so funny, man. He like in this movie too. I feel like he really overtakes Seth Rogen at a certain point. Like they work really well together, but you just start to see Bill Hader pull away. And I think it's when they're sitting at the bar and they're like, "Oh, dude, never meet a girl in the bar. Trust me." He's like, "Guess where I met my first wife? At a bar."
No, he's in the same bar.
This bar. There's so many things that we can pull from. We didn't even get to the party at the end. There's the party midway through that they stop at where the period blood girls dancing on
We're
Jonah.
blood brothers. So this is one thing that I love. The guy that hits Seth, Joe Lotrudio. I don't know his name. Dude, the part where Mark grabs him and he fucking takes him out. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? And then like Seth and Evan are obviously looking at him like, what the fuck? And this guy just goes, boom, and he goes, and Mark looks at him like, you fucking hit me, and he goes, Tiger, get out the cage, bro. Like, I love that line so much because it's so random but so great. But yeah, that Blood Brothers scene, I absolutely love the whole thing. He's like, oh, it's period. And then I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, who thinks of this shit?
It's nasty, dude. Like, and she was dancing on him and just said thank you. Like, she was like, okay, I'm done.
Wasted. And then says that, tries to flip it on him, obviously, afterwards. But the scene that for me, like, outshines everything in that is when Evan is in the room, stuck in the room, and he's singing. And right before he's like, "Oh, you're the singer," and he's like, "No." He's like, "Sing like a bird."
He starts singing "Your Eyes," right?
Yeah, your eyes.
And there was the guy who's really hopped up on coke. And he's he's crying. It was so good. And then you hear that song on the radio in the cop car afterwards. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
That comes on afterwards. There's so many great scenes.
One line right before where McLovin drops the liquor, right? And the guy's like, "Sir, did you do this?" And he goes, "No, but someone should really clean it up." And walks away and scoffs. And the guy goes, "Fuck my life." That's the moment I started using that because I laughed so fucking hard watching that. And I'm like, I'm gonna take that from them, man. I've probably heard it before, but that shit was so the timing on that was so great. And he's the same guy that comes to the party.
Yeah.
Has all the booze with him. And I'm like, this guy's stealing from the convenience store. This is awesome.
And meanwhile, the mini girl, I love when she's at the counter and she's like, "I don't know, and I got a vet exam tomorrow," and is just freaking out. And they're like, "I guess she's got a vet exam tomorrow."
She freaks out, dude.
Let's move on to best line, and I feel like what we should do instead is just like go over almost all the lines, just the stuff that we love. If I had to pick one, mine would be from Seth, where he's like, "You know when you hear girls say, 'Oh man, I was so shit-faced last night. I shouldn't have fucked that guy.' We could be that mistake."
Yeah, dude. Absolutely.
I think that's a great line.
There's so many, dude. In the beginning of the movie, again, when he's talking about he's like, "I don't understand why girls can this is Evan's like, I don't understand why girls can flaunt this all they want, and he goes, and we have to, hide our erections." And then he goes, "Oh, I put it like right on my he's like kind of like a 6 to midnight." He's like, "I put it," he goes, "I hides it and it feels good." He goes, "Almost blew up below to my belly button." Like that shit for me, the first time I heard it, man, oh my God. And again, it was like 10 minutes in the movie and I'm like, what the actual fuck, man? Hold on.
They're like, what's it like having a gun? It's like having two cocks, and one of your cocks could kill someone. That's great. It's when Jules says, "You scratch our backs, we'll scratch yours." And like it's a great line for a guy to hear, right? And then he responds with, "Well, that's funny because my back is located on my cock."
Oh my God. No. And when Becca and Evan are finally like about to have sex, and then she like grabs, she goes, "Oh, your cock is so smooth," and he goes, "Yours would be too if you had one." Oh my God.
And in that same moment when she's like, "I'm so wet right now," and he goes, "Yeah, that's what happened."
That's what happened. That's what I heard that happens or something like that.
Oh my God.
I'm like going over them, dude, and it's like, oh, right here. When I was a little kid, I kind of had this problem. It's not big a deal. It's like 8% of kids do it. For some reason, I don't know why, I would just sit around all day and draw pictures of dicks. What? Draw pictures of dicks. Dicks? Like a man dick? Yes, man. Like a man dick. He goes, I would sit around for hours drawing dicks. I didn't know what it was about. I couldn't touch the pen without the paper, without drawing a shape of a penis. Evan's like, "That's fucked." She's like, "No shit, it's really fucked up. Here I am, a little kid, and I'm drawing. I can't stop drawing dicks to save my life." And then he goes, bro, what does he say? Oh, he goes, "Then your precious Becca sat next to me all of 4th grade in the classroom where I did the majority of my illustrations. I was very secretive about the whole dick operation. Even I thought it was crazy. Imagine what everyone else would think. I would stash all my dick drawings in this lunchbox, in this Ghostbusters lunchbox that I saw. One day I finished drawing up this really big, veiny, triumphant bastard, and all of a sudden, oh my god!
There's a couple other great ones. Seth saying no one has gotten a hand job in cargo shorts since Nam. That's pretty great. And then McLovin. How old are you, McLovin? Old enough.
Old enough.
What? It's a party. That's so funny, man. There's so many great ones.
You mentioned the We Can Be That Mistake.
Yeah.
And then you have a little quick cameo from Dave Franco. Where he's like,
"Where the wet your pants again?"
2 points, and then he goes, "Come the fuck down, Greg. It's soccer. No one cares." He goes, "Fuck you, man. Hey, Greg, why don't you go piss your pants?"
Like that was like 8 years ago.
Asshole. And he goes, "People don't forget." I
kicks the soccer ball. He's running out of there.
We used that GIF this week, the "People Don't Forget" GIF, and I was like, "Fuck yeah."
Getting a breast reduction is like slapping God in the face.
Absolutely, that's another one.
And then he's like,
a few times actually. Not gonna lie.
She had back problems, man. It was hurting. Okay, so let me get into a couple casting what ifs here. There's really not a lot. There's one big one, but there's a couple of things that were cut. So like Justin Long had a scene that was cut out of this film. That kind of makes sense. Justin Long just kind of works his way into every comedy in the 2000s. I feel like he's just somehow there. Danny McBride is at the house party. I didn't even realize that he was in there.
He's in the background. Yeah.
Where?
He is right where I think it's in the dance scene, actually. He's one of the guys in the background.
Oh, shit. I never noticed him.
Yeah.
But I got one big.
He doesn't have a beard. He's completely cut.
Okay. Well, that's why I wouldn't notice who he is.
Yeah.
But there's one big one, and that is the role of Jules. We got Emma Stone. It was almost Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence was almost Jules in this film, which would have worked definitely at the time.
It would have, but no, I love that because I mean I'm sure we would have seen Emma Stone eventually. Yeah, but I like it. I like that. I like the fact that we kept Emma Stone. To be honest with you,
this got her Easy A and launched her into superstardom. Like she's America's sweetheart at this point. Whatever she does, people go out to see.
You know, a lot of people ask me who my favorite actress is and all that, and I can't. It sucks to say that. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I can't think of it. And I actually do think it's Emma Stone and probably Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie's for a different reason altogether, even though she's a great actress. But I want to say it's probably Emma Stone. I think I've seen her whole filmography. It's not much, but I think I've seen every single one of her films because I wanted to. You know what I mean? Like she's great. I think she's great. So I like that. I go back and forth. I can't say the same thing about Jennifer Lawrence. I like Jennifer Lawrence, but there's movies that I have skipped of hers already. You know?
Yeah, so. I'm a fan of Margot Robbie's obviously my favorite. I love Emily Blunt. I think that's another woman who's just right there. I'll go see anything she's in. But Emma Stone, she's consistently at the top, and now she's winning Oscars and getting nominated for Oscars all the time. Like she's just launched into this new stratosphere, which is really cool about all these actors. A lot of them have taken off in their careers. And I think we can talk about that more once we get into Apex Mountain. Because there can be a lot that we can dig in. Steve says that he spoke to Emma Stone on Facebook until she got too big, and he still loves her though. So I've actually heard this story before from Steve that like they were in contact before, him and Emma Stone, about like coming on and doing some stuff or doing interviews, whatever it may be, and then obviously become too big for our little website at that time. So
it happens, man. Don't worry, we'll get her on. Remember this episode.
Yeah. She just got married and had a kid too, which is crazy to look back on. Like this was her at the beginning in high school. Now look where she is.
Give me 2 seconds, dude. Keep talking. Okay.
Well, now we move on next to the Mahershala Ali Award for Best Sharpshooter, the character who does the most in the least amount of time. I was really hard pressed to find someone for this award because I feel like the people I want to give it to are in for too long, and then there's really not a lot of people who are in it for less time that deserve this. So I really ended up on Emma Stone, which is a good transition for what we were just talking about, because Emma Stone has that. She's really good at being this, like she's super attractive in this film, especially for high schoolers, but she doesn't come across as the bratty, super hot, whatever, popular girl. Like where she's not unachievable. She's a good person. She's just genuinely kind. And then when I think her biggest thing is when she's not drinking at the party, when she's just like, no, I don't drink. Like she's just a good person. She's no bad qualities about her. She's just a really nice person who's there, who listens, but also she's super cool. And I think Emma Stone really nails that. I would have gone with someone like Bill Hader or Seth Rogen, but they're in it too much. And then obviously the big three. Jeez, Jader. But I can't really name anyone else I think would really qualify for this. Did you think of anyone for this award, Jader?
Cameo? I mean, sharpshooter?
Yeah.
You can give it a Bill Hader, to be honest with you, man.
I think he's in it for too much. I would have given it to Hader, but he's in it for too long. He's one of the 5 main leads.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, then I mean, if it's not Hader, man, it has to be because McLovin, obviously there's 3 main leads in the at least I feel that they're all equally leads in the film.
Yeah.
And then 2. Emma Stone.
I feel like it's her. There's really
nobody else because it's not fucking Nikolai, which is Nikolai. That's her name. The girl that McLovin hooks up with. It's not Mike's Hard Lemonade chick. Yeah, it's not Becca. So yeah, Emma Stone.
I think it's Emma Stone. Yeah, I think that it kind of sucks for this award because there was no one else that could go to. It's just you're kind of stuck with that. So that takes us to the Bill Murray Award for Best Cameo. Did you have anything fun for this one?
The guy that hit Seth with the car. Love that guy, man.
Joe Trujillo or something.
I'm sorry, I butcher his name every time. But dude, again, that one punch that he does, and he goes, "Tiger got out the cage, bro." That, and then the whole time, or where he's like nervous as fuck, and he goes, "All right," and he tries to like bribe him with money. The guy has $7 fucking in his pocket. That's so great, dude.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is not the first time at least that I have given him an award because I gave it to him, and I love you, man. And that's just the way he is. I don't watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I hear he's hysterical in that show.
Yeah. He seems like a funny person. I just started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Literally today, as I saw that Brooklyn Nine-Nine is finally coming to an end. You know what? I'm going to start it now. Today's the day to finally start watching it. So, I have him coming up for another award. I feel like you could have given it Dave Franco because it's obviously such a quick cameo of him just running by about pissing his pants. But I think there's one easy one for this. I don't know why, but this scene makes me laugh. It's when they're sitting at the lunch table, and Seth's like, "You're going to leave me like Steven Glansberg over there?" And Steven Glansberg's just sitting there by himself. That's my cameo right there. I love Steven Glansberg. He's just there enjoying himself, eating his lunch, and that's it. I think Steven Glansberg it's also just a funny name to say. Glansberg. I don't even know the actor's name.
I know, and I'm kind of backtracking here, man, because it's just what this movie does. But I already know. I know you mentioned casting what ifs. Did you know that this movie was obviously written by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg? Hence,
the name
Evan.
Yeah.
But did you know that they originally wrote this for Seth Rogen to star as Seth?
Mm-hmm.
He was gonna be in it. But by the time the movie finally got greenlit, because this is one of the first films they wrote.
13 years old.
Yeah. So the reason why was obviously he was too old for the role, so that's why they gave it to Jonah Hill. But yeah, I thought that's a little fun fact that I love about this movie because it's legit they said obviously a little bit embellished, but overall it was what their high school experience was like. So.
Well, yeah, there's a couple things that they said are like beat for beat. One of them was the scene where Michael Cera is describing what his night was like, his Wildfire night was like. I guess that is something Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg, and someone else did when they were kids. Was like
you got right in, and then you see them getting kicked out.
That was strip club. They're at an adult party, all this stuff. I was at some adult party. It was cool to get to talk to people who've had experience in their lives. It was really funny. I think it wouldn't have worked as well with Seth Rogen because Here's something I want to get into, something that doesn't work as well for me anymore. I don't like how angry Seth is the entire time.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It gets too much after
Actually,
a
my
while.
brother noticed that with his watch. He's like, "Why is he such a dick?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's just how it was back then, man. I'm like talking about back then like it was a million years ago, but I'm like, that's just how it was, dude. I'm like, he was like kind of like the I don't want to say he was an alpha male, but he was like the leader of his group, and I'm like, and he always had something to fucking prove. And he goes, my little brother takes no shit, and he's like, I would have knocked his fucking teeth in if he talked to me that way. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm like, they aren't those guys. Like McLovin's not gonna do it, and neither's
Evan.
Evan. So
yeah.
But my little brother did notice that too. Like for me, it was normal when I first saw it. I was like, oh, whatever. He's just that guy. And then now that I watch it, I noticed that too. I'm like, yeah, he's a very fucking angry individual, man. Like it's like poor little me, like fucking small as violin. Everything was going wrong for him. Like, come on, bro.
He's the guy who thinks he's cool, even though he has no right to think that.
He's entitled.
Yeah, he has power over these little over his friends, so he feels like he can act this way. But really, when he's put in a situation with people that are above him, like at the beginning when he gets spit on, he dwindles and he goes back into his shell. But then he expresses his anger towards his friends, and I think I can understand that complex. It just gets too much after a bit. Because it's the entire movie all the way up until the end is him just
literally all the way until probably like 10 minutes before the movie finishes.
Yes.
The whole film.
He's finally not angry anymore. So that is a little frustrating. Let's get to the Gary Oldman Everyone Award for Best Overacting. And this is where I go to Jolo Trujillo, the guy with the car. I give it to him, especially like when he first hits him and he's like, I just got a warrant out for a very nonviolent crime, but I can't go back to prison. And then when they're discussing, he's like, you two look like, are you guys related to Jimmy? You look like Jimmy's friends, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I promise I'm not creepy, guys.
No. I love when he's in the car. He's like, who's going to do? You are.
Yeah. He's like, oh man, it sounds like she totally wants it.
No, I actually give this to Mark, to the guy that fights.
Oh shoot, you're right. It's him.
Yeah, that's who that's the overactor for me, and I love him in like again the films that he's done. He's in Pineapple and all that stuff, but that's who I give it to. I feel like he was a little intense, man. He was a little intense. That whole scene, you might actually give it to a lot of people in that scene too.
I was about to say there's a couple people there.
That whole party you could probably give it to, because even the girlfriend was a little much,
Well, I think the coke addict, I think he is also one of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And again, and it all works out. This is one of these episodes where it's a compliment. It works for the film.
Mm-hmm.
But
who else could really qualify for this? I think the old man who they arrest at the bar.
McMuffin. He sees him in the thing. Yeah. Yes. He is another one. Actually,
I think
I thought about it too, and I fucking froze out when you said it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. That's another winner.
I think he's funny for that scene where he's just like, ah! And he's running around the restaurant.
Yeah, no, and not only that, in the bus, dude, when he starts to shit in the bus.
Yes. So no, he's definitely one. Okay, so that brings me to interesting details. So the guy who drew the penises is Evan Goldberg's brother, Dave Goldberg. Yeah. There's over 100 penis drawings somewhere out there, and it's like only 20 something of them actually made it into the movie. But there's a whole book of them of just penises. And you know what? Based on what you saw at the end, there's some very creative ones out there.
No, the one where you see it's like kind of like martial law with the tank and the big dick there, just fucking like, oh my god, there's so many great ones.
Could you imagine sitting there for hours on it and just drawing dick photos over and over and over again? Like, Dave Goldberg, he's got to be an MVP right there to get that out there. Who else we have? Rogan Goldberg, like I said, wrote this at the age of 13 years old because they just wanted to see if they could write a movie, and ended up writing one of their best ones ever. Obviously, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg are just probably one of the most profound comedic duos out there. they're geniuses now. And they moved into other things now too. Like they're producing The Boys.
The Boys. Yeah, I was gonna tell you they're doing The Boys, man. Like that's incredible.
And they did Preacher, which is I know was a popular show when that first started.
Good. I saw the first season. I never followed up, not for lack of any, but I was just like I'll just watch it when it's over. I just got back to it. But Preacher was a lot of fun to watch. It's a very fucked up show, but it's really good.
I said this was the acting debut of Emma Stone, which I didn't know at the time. This was her first movie ever, and like I said, it launched her career. Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill were best friends when they were working on this film, and when they were looking to cast Evan, they said they wanted to cast someone not for their acting, but someone that they could see as joining them as another best friend in real life, and that's how they landed on Michael Cera.
That's dope.
I think that's really cool. It brings me to I just watched This Is the End again last week, and This Is the End. Michael Cera is obviously the biggest douchebag.
Well, I mean, we're gonna obviously we'll cover that movie eventually, but I'm telling you right now, he won the film. Or we can give him best cameo because oh my god, dude, I had never obviously you don't see that side of him. He kind of like got typecasted as the nice guys finish last, but evidently finishes with the girl at the end of the movie and all that. So you always see him as this nice guy. And when he took on that role and This Is the End, dude, oh my, just that bathroom scene alone, dude.
You want to sip?
Oh my god, dude.
But then also when it came to McLovin, to Christopher Mintz-Plasse, when they were doing the auditions, they were doing read-throughs, and Jonah Hill's like, this guy keeps stepping on my lines. I don't like him. And they go to the back. Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg bring him to the back and put on the audition tape. And it's like, watch. And he never stepped on his lines at all. He was actually coming up with little quirks to push to push Jonah Hill to be even better. And this kid had never acted before in his entire life.
Yep, first time.
This was his debut also. And then Jonah Hill realizes like oh shit, okay, this guy is it. And the first lines that McLovin utters in the film is immediate improv. Like that was the first day on set was his introduction. What's up, gangsters? Chicka, yeah. Like that was all just improv stuff, and it works. They kept keep it in the film, and obviously we'll get to him probably for something else coming up.
Absolutely.
Let's see. The loop at the beginning, where you see Michael Cera dancing. That he danced for an hour straight because he didn't want just the same thing get repeated over and over again. So that's all new movements. They recorded him dancing for an hour straight and just put it in there.
I knew that too.
Right there. And then this is the best. So Christopher Mintz-Plasse's mom had to be in the room during his sex scene because he was only 17 years old.
Oh, he was 17 years old. That's right. I knew that too. You're absolutely right.
That's brutal.
That's fucking crazy. I get a boner.
It's in.
Like, oh, it's in. Holy shit, man. That must have been fucking crazy. Fuck that. I don't want to imagine that, man. Hell no.
It's super awkward. And he was 17, Michael Cera was 19, and Jonah Hill was 23 when they made this film. So they were all super young going into this. Okay. Let's get to Apex Mountain. And I feel like this is where we can have a big conversation about most of these actors. Because this film, like we said, is one of the best comedies to me ever made. So it's got to be someone's Apex Mountain. I feel like where we start, I think this easily goes to McLovin or Christopher Mintz-Plasse. No matter what he does in his career from here on out, he could end up winning an Oscar.
There's a lot of people that don't know his actual name. It's always going to be McLovin. He was in Kick-Ass. He was McLovin. He was in what's another movie? He was in Coño, man.
He was in Neighbors.
He was in Neighbors, which he was great in Neighbors. He was awesome in that movie.
He was in
Promising Young Woman.
Mm-hmm. He's in it for one scene. That's it. So he's not in it too much.
Role models.
Huh?
Role models.
Role models. Yes, he's good. He's actually really good in role models.
I actually forgot about that movie. Steph just texted me. She's like,
okay.
And I was like, yeah, you're absolutely right.
That's his other big one. This one to me though is always gonna. There's people who haven't seen this movie and know the name McLovin.
Oh yeah,
right? He's on T-shirts.
I had the McLovin ID shirt. I had it. I fucking lost it somewhere in boxes probably, but I had that shirt because I was like, I need to have this. And I remember when I don't know if it was MySpace with this. Yeah, I think this movie came out during MySpace.
Yes, because Joe Trujillo is like, you guys got a MySpace?
Yeah, so MySpace, and everyone's profile picture was a goddamn Hawaii ID for a long time.
Yes, and when I was in college, this was back in like 2015, 2016. There are flags and banners in college kids' dorms with that McLovin sign on it. So he's always going to be a figure,
like an icon, because it's like for college dorm rooms, you know.
Yeah, like there's not many films that go on people's dorms, and this is one. His face is one of them.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is easily going to be his apex mountain. No matter if he wins an Oscar at some point in his career, or he does this big dramatic role, becomes a superhero, whatever it is, he's always going to be McLovin somehow. Yeah. So I feel like he easily wins this. But let's talk about everyone else. Michael Cera. Do you think this is his apex mountain?
Absolutely.
I think so too.
Oh, you can kind of argue Scott Pilgrim.
Mm-mm.
You can, dude.
There's a lot of people who haven't seen that movie still.
Huh?
There's a lot of people who still don't even know that movie exists.
Scott Pilgrim?
Yes. I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of people who don't even know that movie's still out there.
Let's check.
I'm telling you.
IMDb, because I know, obviously, top of my head, Juno,
yep,
Scott Pilgrim, and Superbad. But Nick and Nora's definitely not better than this. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen Nick and Nora, check it out. That's a good movie. Nick and Nora, Year One, Scott Pilgrim, Youth and Revolt. Youth and Revolt was whatever. This is the End. Nope. This could be his. Yeah, this could definitely be his apex, to be completely honest with you.
I think this is definitely his apex.
Ooh, well. Yeah, I don't know. Molly's Game. He was really good in Molly's Game.
It's not his movie though. There's no way that's his apex mountain. Like he's not the star in it at all.
McGuire.
Yeah. He was Robin in the Lego Batman movie.
There it is. I'm like, I know he did like an animated movie that was fucking great. What is it? It's the Lego Batman. I love that fucking movie.
That movie's really good. Yeah,
so good. But I don't know, man. It's honestly between Superbad and Scott Pilgrim. That can be argued. I'm sure there's people that are going to be like, Scott Pilgrim is his best film, and there's going to be people that are going to be like, no, there's no way it's Superbad. I will probably bend more towards the Superbad side than the Scott Pilgrim, but the argument can be made, in my opinion.
If you look at how we define this award, which is like, this is the peak of your career where you can kind of do whatever you want.
You're right. So yeah, no, this is it.
I feel like that's definitely Superbad. Jonah Hill, I don't think this is his apex. I think this was his beginning, because if you look where he's at now, I love Moneyball, man. I think Moneyball.
I think that movie's fantastic.
Yes. I don't even know if that's his apex, though. I feel like we are still looking at Jonah Hill's apex coming up.
If we're talking about we probably haven't even gotten it yet, but if we're talking giving him the award right now, what is his top? It's probably gonna be Wolf of Wall Street for
Wolf.
Yeah.
So I think it's Wolf of Wall Street. I think
far is it, even though Moneyball is a very close second, you know, and it's crazy because I think we're talking about it more dramatic. Even though he had a lot of comedy in Wolf of Wall Street, but these are more dramatic films. Because he was even in War Dogs, he was great in that. You know,
I think 21, 22 Jump Street are some of the best comedies of this past decade too. So I feel like he's had such a great career so far, and it's kind of just getting started at this point. Like he was in talks to be either the Riddler or the Penguin for Matt Reeves' Batman movie. Like he had his choice and decided to turn them both down. This guy is gonna be in the awards conversation a lot coming up for whatever he decides to put out, because he's made that change from comedic actor to dramatic, and it's funny because he kind of makes fun of himself and and This Is the End, about him finally getting Oscar nominations and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is his apex mountain at all. I think the director, Greg Mottola, it's never going to be better for him.
No. What didn't he do? He did I Love You Man, and he did this, didn't he?
I think so. And then he's had a couple bombs in there, like movies that just aren't very good at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I Love You Man and Superman, man. They're two different films for me.
Yeah.
You know.
What else I mean, Bill Hader? No, I don't think this is his apex.
Definitely not Bill Hader's apex. No.
I think if his career goes downhill from here, you could easily see. I could revisit it and say that this is his apex at some point. But to me, his career is just getting better and better. I love the TV show Barry. I think Barry's terrific.
I've only seen the first season. I haven't seen season 2.
Season 2 is even better. And I know they're filming season 3 right now.
Yeah.
But Bill Hader he's just. I think honestly, I think Saturday Night Live so far is his apex mountain. Like he was a star on that show.
Let me tell you that he breaks character all the time and it kills me. It kills me every time he breaks character. He's so good. But look, it's not Jonah Hill's. It could be Michael Cera, Christopher Mintz-Plasse as well. Not Bill Hader's, not Seth Rogen's. Becca.
It's definitely Becca's, yes.
Yeah. Emma Stone, definitely not. Nikolai, obviously. And Joel Truglio. No. Kevin Corrigan, which is the guy that plays Mark. He had a bigger role in Pineapple Express. He was in The Departed. So yeah, probably just the 2 male leads, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And the director. But even the director, like, they're 2 different films, man. But he's really look. Adventureland, I don't fucking like. I hate that film, actually.
It's funny because there's people who love that movie and there's people who just hate that.
I hate it. I really don't like it. Oh, he directed 3 episodes of Dave. Did you see that show, Dave?
Yes, I did see Dave. I thought Dave was great.
That was great, man. I feel like it's such an underrated show. It was so good.
I'm shocked it didn't get a lot of comedy nominations coming up. Like when the Emmys came out or the Golden Globes just recently. It wasn't even the conversation, which I was really surprised by.
And I think that show was fantastic. It's an easy watch. It's a fast watch. You're hooked from the very beginning. And just the way that little Dicky thinks, man, just like the way it's great. And I feel like the last episode is genius.
Yes.
It's so genius the way the storytelling went, where you're literally like, what am I watching, to when you find out what's going on to the very last second of that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So good. So shout out. I don't know if he directed that episode specific because it only says 3 episodes. But keeping up with the Joneses,
no,
trash.
It's not a good movie.
Paul's
just a stoner movie. Like
it's fine. Adventureland, I don't like. Superbad, I don't like.
You don't like Superbad?
Oh no, my bad. Sorry. Absolutely right, my bad. No, so he didn't direct. I Love You Man. Who directed I Love You Man?
Oh, you better know this.
I know.
You don't want to get this wrong in your match.
No, listen. I mean, the chances of me getting us an I Love You Man question is John Hamburg. Fucking idiot. That's my bad. John Hamburg directed this. Sorry, guys. I'm here. Like, we're like fucking like not on a show right now. It's like we're talking regular. So John Hamburg directed Why Him, I Love You Man, Along Came Polly. And that's it. Those are the 3 films he has under his belt. Everything else is TV.
Yeah.
Not bad. So, yeah, the director is Greg Mottola.
I think, and then, like I said, I think Becca also. So that's really it. I feel like if Bill Hader, like I said, if his career goes downhill, maybe. But I think right now it's easily Michael Cera, Greg Mottola, and McLovin. It's going to be those 3 no matter what. So that brings us to our final category. Who won the movie? And there's so many options here. I'm going to rule out some people. I'm not going to give it to Jonah Hill. I don't think he wins this movie. No. He's honestly probably my least favorite out of the 3 main guys. If you're looking at the cops, I don't think it's Seth Rogen, even though I think Seth Rogen's hilarious in this movie. I wouldn't go him. I go either McLovin or Bill Hader.
It's for me. It's McLovin, man. You said it yourself. Like, he's in dorm rooms. His picture, his Facebook. People don't know his real name to this day. I guarantee you that guy gets called McLovin all the time instead of Christopher. Like, unless you're in like our world, or you really like movies and shit like that. People are gonna look at him. Oh, dude, it's McLovin. Oh, McLovin's in that movie. it has to be him. There's no, I don't even think it comes close. As much as I love Hader in this film, this is McLovin's movie, man. And everyone again came out quoting McLovin, laughing about, like, he had like the best arc in the film.
Yes, he did. I love his story the most.
Yeah, dude. So congratulations, Chris. You pick up your Jader Award for winning the film, because he definitely did that. And we can give it to Seth Rogen, and I'm not going to tell you acting wise. The fact that he wrote this movie at 13 years old, that's
crazy. Yeah,
that's winning.
It is. And then he's also one of the funnier parts in this film. Him and Bill Hader just have a great dynamic with each other. And if I can only watch one portion of this film, it is the McLovin, Bill Hader, Seth Rogen stuff. I'd rather watch their journey from them picking him up in the liquor store all the way to them seeing each other at the party. I'd rather watch their story than Seth and Evan's. That's kind of how it is to me. I feel like their story is just a lot more interesting.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like from being like his opening scene, the chicken, like that told her what time it was. Him getting the fake ID, him getting into this, him freaking out about, I should have worn the vest. Love that line also.
What?
When he goes, I should have worn the vest, when he takes out the vest and he's like freaking out about wearing the vest or not. I thought that was great. Then actually, going to the liquor store, getting punched in the face, befriending the cops, stopping the dude, going to the party, getting laid. He's the only one that got laid in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Best arc. So,
yes. And when they're dragging him out,
and the guy spits on Bill Hader. It's so good, dude.
And he's like, can I shoot your cop car?
Clark Duke, yeah, man. Clark Duke, a little cameo there where that he did Sex Drive and Hot Tub Time Machine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's another movie we got to cover. Hot Tub Time Machine.
I love that movie. Is on at like 10:30 every night on Comedy Central, and I always put it on. That's one of the more surprising movies I think I've seen.
That's another one that I saw opening weekend, not knowing. I had just come back from Orlando. We'll get a quick little story. I was in Orlando, came home, and I wanted to see in Orlando. We couldn't, so we decided to come home early because I had to work the next day. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm watching Hot Tub Time Machine. So I saw it like at 10 at night on a Sunday. And
yes,
blew me away. They didn't think, and I had no word of mouth on the film either. So I didn't know if it was as funny, or I didn't know. So I saw it and I was like, bro, this movie is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Sequel, not so much.
No, sequel's really bad.
But the first one was fantastic.
One last thing I want to touch on is the ending of this movie. We didn't really get to touch that last scene in the mall. I think is really good. It's a really great button at the top of it, or at the end of this film, where you see them go their separate ways. And it's kind of sad because as Seth is going down the escalator and he keeps looking back up at Evan just to see him one last time, because they've never been separated with each other in their entire lives, even though they're both going out with the woman they want to be with. Yeah. He's kind of saying goodbye to his friend. And even that interaction he's like, so I will text you later. They don't know what to say to each other because they never say goodbye. Yeah. I think it's really good. And I love the way that they kind of touch it at the end.
No, absolutely. And I kind of called the same thing when I saw it with my little brother, I saw it with Steph. Steph was there too. And same thing. I was kind of like, I'm like, it's kind of sad. Like, it's not that it's a sad ending, but it's like an end of an era type shit, And it was them kind of like maturing a little bit, but like, hey, this is life. Like, eventually, like, we're not, and it happens. It is life. Like, there was friends of mine from high school that we were completely inseparable, And now it's you get lucky if you get a text here and there like, hey man, how you doing? I actually from my obviously my best friend passed away, but it was a group of us and we actually got together for the Super Bowl and it was nice. Like, I haven't seen, because one lives in Orlando, one lives in West Palm Beach, and for some reason you know, we all were in a group chat together, and then one of them was like, dude, are you guys wanting to come down for the Super Bowl and just like hang out? And you know, the people that lived up north, they were like, yeah, we'll come down, you know. And then it was just great. Like I think we hadn't been all of us together in the same room. If I tell you it's been like 7 years, it's probably been longer. And I talked to you the night of the Super Bowl. You know the outcome of the story.
I talked to you, yeah.
Fucking wreck, dude. You know,
well, it's funny, man, because I'm actually on Saturday. I'm going to see my best friend in Tampa for the first time to really hang out in like over a year. Like we saw each other briefly on New Year's Eve, but we used throughout high school and middle school, we would see each other, you know, at least 3-4 times a week, right? And now I'm lucky to see him maybe twice a year. It's one of those things where you just have to stay in touch. You really have to
put in the effort. That's one of the things that I told. Okay, so the one of the guys that from like I had like two group of friends, right? Eventually we would all hang out, but I had two group of friends. But it was at first it was only three of us, and then it blossomed into that group that I told you about Sunday. But the three out of the three, it's one of them ones that passed away, myself, and another one that, thank God, he's still around. But he's kind of had his own life, right? Where he's, you know, married and has kids and the whole nine. And I reached out to him, I want to say about 3 weeks ago, more or less. It was the night of the McGregor fight. And I was just like, hey, dude. Yeah, I'm like, hey, dude, what's going on? How are you? And he goes, nothing. I'm at home. I'm like, you down to hang? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, let's watch the fight, this and that and that. I ended up hanging out with him. He came over like around 7, and he left like at 7 in the morning of all the catching up we had to do. And it was, again, one of those things where he's like, it sucks that I haven't been around. I'm sorry. I'm like, dude, you don't have to apologize, dude. I'm like, I get it. You know, I understand we have lives. We grow up.
It just happens, and it's weird.
So that's why I liked, again, going back to the film, that they actually touched on that. Like, hey, this is what's going to happen, especially going to different colleges. Co-workers, dude, you get close to co-workers. The second you don't work there no more, you know, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to keep in touch.
Yeah,
it's what it is. You know, so
it's just the way it happens, and it's weird too, because you love these friends and you're close with them, and then you don't talk to them for this long period. But then when you finally do reach out, or they reach out, there's no ill will. It's like something you never miss the beat, right? They're happy to hear from you, and it's if we just put in the effort, it really, there's like this little conundrum wouldn't exist. But you either get busy or you just don't think of it. Out of sight, out of mind is a real thing. That's
a real thing. I absolutely 100% believe in out of sight, out of mind. I had one of my, again, a close friend from high school, from elementary, middle school, and high school. Like we've known each other since 4th grade, and I haven't. He moved to Cape Coral as soon as we graduated high school. Like we graduated, he went to FSU. And then I haven't seen him since. I think I saw him one time the year we graduated, if I'm not mistaken, like at a UF football game, because I went up to Gainesville to hang out with some friends. And I think it was I don't know if FSU played them or they came. Oh, no, it was Gator Grau, and he came from FSU to UF. I haven't seen him since, and we're trying to make plans. His mom reached out. Like his mom was like, these doors are always open for you, and as soon as you want to make this happen, we're gonna do this. I haven't seen him again in like 15 years, you know. But I'm trying to make it happen because you still obviously care about, you know, what's going on and all that shit. So.
And it's weird because we're in the time now where it's the easiest it's ever been to stay in contact with someone. We just don't do it, and it's all about making that next step. And it's funny, in this movie, they have a sleepover with each other that night, and they're both laying on the floor next to each other. Instead of one's in bed and one's on the floor, they're both on the floor next to each other in their sleeping bags like they were little kids. And then they say goodbye to each other at the end of the movie. And I was wondering this at the end of it too. Could we ever see a sequel? And then I started thinking, I don't want to see a sequel.
Nope. Don't touch it.
Yeah, this is it.
The story was told. You know, they lived. a happy life. They're still friends, and Seth and Evan are getting all the pussy they want in college, man, and that's it. I don't want a sequel for this. There's no need for it. There's really no need for it. And people always try to like 21 Jump Street is one that I'm like, I do want to see this. Where's and they kind of like leave it with like where he's like, oh, you used to sons of bitches are going to college.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, so cool. Let me see that.
We did see that.
No, I know. That's what I mean. Like when I saw 21 Jump Street, I'm like, oh, give me the sequel tomorrow.
Yeah.
Even the rumor for the third one, I was on board with. As
the Men in Black thing?
Yes,
hell yeah.
As bizarre as it was, I was like, I want to see that.
Yes.
I'm so pissed off that they didn't work out because it was like a real thing for a while. This is one where I'm like, shut it down. It's over. The story's been told. We don't need to revisit that. And I'm afraid because, look, Coming America is getting a sequel that we really don't need. Trailers don't look bad by any means, right? Mm-hmm. And I know Craig Brewer, like after seeing Dolomite, I'm convinced that he's going to do a good job, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we really didn't need that sequel, and this is the thing. I'm a hope it just wouldn't work out in my opinion because this is a high school story, and these guys are adults now. Like it's not like Coming America where he was a kid. He was already an adult living his life and all that stuff, and then we're gonna see the continuation of this, right? So I don't want to see the sequel. I hope they don't touch it. I don't even want to see a remake or anything. Like just leave it alone.
I think a remake is actually, you know what? It's more of like a homage now because, like I said, we saw Booksmart just a couple years ago. It's the female version of this, right?
But it's not the same story.
Yeah, it's the same. We're gonna see this generational high school comedy is gonna come up every.
I'm on board with that. I'm on board with generation high school comedies. Again, I think American Pie was the one that kicked this shit off. You get me? I'm fine with that. Even American Pie, I would accept another sequel from American Pie, even though the story's been told. But I would rather see those characters because we kind of grew up with them. Okay, we saw them in high school, we saw them in college, we saw them get married, and then we saw them post, like living as a married couple and whatnot. What are they doing now? Are the kids having kids? Like, I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm. This is one that doesn't need to. The story doesn't need to be revisited. It's the story's done, and.
And I also feel like the way that Christopher Mintz-Plasse looks now, it would just take the magic off of McLovin because he was just perfect for that time. But yeah, that's gonna do it for Superbad, guys. Great episode tonight. Thank you all for joining us and participating in the chat and everything we had going on today. Jader, are you staying up till 3 a.m. to watch WandaVision tonight?
Hell no. You know how tired I am, dude?
Right.
I'm just gonna stay off the internet and watch it when I come home. When Steph gets home tomorrow. But no, I can't. I would love to, but no, I work in the morning, guys.
It's tough, man, because you really do have to stay off the internet nowadays.
No, I will. I'll stay off the internet. Yeah, no. But let me tell you, man, that WandaVision show. You can catch my episode on Granny's Peach Tea this week, where I completely just dive into that thing and dissect it in every single fanboy way that I possibly could. I absolutely love WandaVision. If you guys gave up for some reason after episode 2 or 3, keep watching. It is definitely worth the watch, especially if you're a Marvel fan, because it blows your mind. It really blows. And I'm not talking about MCU. I'm just talking about Marvel fan in general. But yeah, we actually have an episode set, which, the ongoing, I don't want to say ongoing joke, but Kyle and I were discussing this right before we jumped live. The reason why I don't want to say we're an inconsistent show. We're inconsistent in our format, I guess, of when we're going to go live, right? We never know. The reason why is because Kyle and I both work retail, school, kids. We have, and by when I mean working retail, our schedules are never set. I don't have a 9 to 5. I sometimes get off at 8 o'clock. Sometimes I get off at 9 o'clock. It is what it is. Sometimes, I'm off. Kyle's not off, so on and so forth. And we also have, our special guests that join the show. They're from LA, they're from Canada, what have you, Hawaii, what have you. But we actually have a set episode coming next week. So it'll be next Wednesday, 9 o'clock. We will have Jeff Snyder on the show. Big personality on the Schmodown. I'm actually facing his faction, which is hilarious because he's already taking shots at me. But that's neither here nor there. We will be discussing The Crow. I don't know if you guys are a fan of that. I don't know if you've seen that, Kyle. Have you seen The Crow?
I've never seen The Crow.
Oh my God, I cannot wait because you're gonna hate it. It is actually one of my favorite films of all time. I know that movie in and out. I'm probably gonna learn some shit because I know this is one of Jeff Snyder's favorite films of all time as well.
Yeah.
So I'm very hyped for that episode. So catch us next Wednesday. I want to say 9 o'clock is the time that we actually discuss it's gonna happen. So yeah.
I can't wait to talk to Snyder, man. That guy has a personality on him, and he has no filter at all. So get ready for no filter. Yeah. So get ready for a fun episode. He's got a really cool job in the entertainment industry as well, as far as breaking news.
We're gonna do a deep dive in his job as well. I already told him he knows kind of the premise of the show. We interview him, then we jump on the film. He said he's all on board. So yeah, just make sure
to give you guys an idea. He does, if you're a sports fan, he is basically like Adam Schefter or Adrian Wojnarowski. He is the guy who breaks news for movie and television castings, movie announcements, whatever it may be. That is his job. And I think that's a really cool thing. So I can't wait to dive into that and find out like what that job is like, how we got into it, all this other stuff. So it's going to be a really fun episode. Please tune in next Wednesday, guys. Big guest. Man, we got a lot of stuff lined up coming up in the future episodes. A lot coming up. Yeah. And Jader's got his match coming up, so look out for that. We're coming up at 52 episodes, so that's going to be almost a year at that point. So get ready. There's a lot coming up, guys. So once again, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next time on another episode of the Jader and